Alright, hey, welcome to everybody out in YouTube land. I don't know if my previous attempt at this actually got done up or not, so if I'm repeating myself based on a previous video that you saw, then, hey, I'm sorry, I just don't have the time to check right now. So, anyway, where we stand on the armor. I think I pointed out. Yeah, I think I pointed out yesterday about how it is. I love my friggin' new jigsaw. This has sped up my process a lot. I ended up doing just a quick, just a quick recap. I ended up doing from here to about here in like 45 minutes with the hacksaw. With the jigsaw, once I did that, I did both of these in about 30 minutes. And that was because I had to get used to using the jigsaw. So, and now the next thing that I've actually got. Yeah. Anyway, so the next thing is, whatchamacallit? This is the parts list for the leg frames that I'm doing. It's actually going to be two. I was actually kind of overthinking the frame and trying to do the bottom all as one piece because I wasn't quite paying attention to the guy who I actually was drawing. I'm basically drawing a lot of my inspiration for design work from James Bruton, who did a Hulkbuster. It's just he did his a hell of a lot bigger, and he also designed the exact opposite of what I'm doing. He designed the frame and then built the Hulkbuster around it. I'm having to build my frame into a predetermined shell because I have to keep this at 6.5 feet, and I'm using actually a much less detailed version of the Hulkbuster than my final is going to be. So, and I haven't quite decided this yet. Because I have no intention of bringing the shell back with me at all, and quite likely I may or may not actually bring the frame home. So depending on how I feel, what I decide, and how many of you contact me on my Facebook page, the Imperial Nerf Herder on Facebook, and say that you want me to do a giveaway, then I will actually give away a 6.5 foot Hulkbuster armor to a good home because I'm going to be building another one anyway. So I will give this one to somebody. So I might actually make a Facebook page. I might make a Facebook event about it. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll see. Anyway, like I said, I haven't even decided whether I'm going to give it away or whether I'm going to toss it. I don't know. But anyway, so this is the parts list that we're working with. As you saw, I showed you one of the feet, but I did both of those. I've also got listed, we're going to have 4 pieces that go at the lower legs. We got 2 pieces that will be next to the thighs. And then I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do an additional, like, inner thigh piece or not, or how to do the stabilizer, because realistically I am really going to need to get some stabilizing going on and some just extra support. So I may end up doing something like I might actually take some BBC, I might take some 1x2s or something that I've got or whatever and just kind of do pole supports or something. But basically I've got to make sure that I've got clearance on my inner thighs, so that way as I'm walking around I'm not banging into that. So we'll have to see, how that happens and what and what I'm going to have to do. So, and then let's see, we have the 2 actual footrests. I actually have some snowboard bindings coming in. I actually got like a really good deal on those, like for $20 or something. And so I got snowboard bindings, and then I'm going to be putting padding into those so that way they'll be able to grip, because they're really good bindings. I think it says like a fox chewed on part of it or something, but either way they still work. But the thing is that you can't ratchet them down enough to be able to grip when you're wearing regular shoes and pants. So I'm gonna have to like put some padding or something like that, and basically to simulate the bulk of a snowshoe, so that way when I lock it down, it's gripping. So And then I actually ended up having to redo the measurements for a couple of pieces that I did, that I hadn't thought out quite yet. But yeah, these ones right here are actually going to be hinge caps, where just a quick demonstration is you have the lower leg, piece, you have the thigh piece, and then in between those, there's actually you have the that piece, you have the lower leg, you have the upper leg, and then you're gonna have a hinge cap, and then that is actually going to extend downwards, and then there's going to be another piece that goes in here that will actually support this, and then I'm actually going to dish that out a little bit, and the hinge pieces are actually going to be rounded, so that way as everything's moving, it clears. I don't have corners catching on stuff and things like that. So but yeah, the PVC is actually going into what I'm going to be working on while I'm waiting for my wire to make the support cage to come in. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, these are the two thigh pieces that are actually going to be going, on the on the upper leg. We've got the four knee pieces, or shin pieces, boot pieces, whatever you want to call. We got those, and we have the these are the foot rises that I'm actually going to be standing on, and that the snowboard bindings will actually be screwed into. So. So yeah, I am definitely loving my new jigsaw, because I went and did basically I ended up getting maybe 4 inches of the boot of the foot border cut out with a hacksaw by hand in about 45 minutes. Part of that was also using a blade intended for metal rather than wood. So definitely know your materials and know your tools. But yeah, getting the jigsaw, I believe I showed this off yesterday as well. But yeah, God, I love this thing. I love my Black & Decker. I am not sponsored by it. It's weird. I have a couple of specific brands that I actually prefer for various tools. Black & Decker, at one point Black & Decker was that was my, thing. Stanley is actually kind of if I had to pick one brand of tool, and that was the only brand I could use for life, except if there was a tool they didn't make and I could get something or if they made everything or whatever. I haven't actually checked the full range, but Stanley is kind of, at least for my woodworking tools, Stanley is definitely, right. That is pretty much up there with the brands that have been the best for me. Black & Decker has always been good. Surprisingly, Blue Hawk, if you're going for Dremel tools, Blue Hawk is actually a really good one too. At some point I really need to get sponsorship. But anyway, on to the PVC that I showed you. This is, they were actually supposed to be even. They were supposed to actually all be 2 feet tall, but close enough. I may end up actually just kind of seeing, how close to 6 feet this is. But, oh, no, wait a minute. Let's see. That's 2, that's 4. And in between those is 2 6-inch pieces. So, 5. Okay. I have to actually rethink my measurements on something. But anyway, basically what it's going to be is that I'm actually having to take slightly smaller PVC, and I'm having to actually go and, there's my rasp. What I'm having to do is I'm having to actually shave down the outside of it to just take it down just a little bit, because you see here I haven't done anything to it. It's just slightly too big. So what I have to do is I have to shave it down a little bit, so that way it goes in. Yeah, so far I managed to get that much. Uh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I have to get the entire thing, but yeah, so far I've got about 7 inches of it taken in, taken down to what it needs to be. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, cutting this down to about 6 inches, which will go in the middle of that. And so on the above and below, you'll have these larger pieces that will go in and sit there, and then the next one there, and that way I'll have this 6 foot staff to be able, to be able to hold the banner. Which, if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see pictures of the 2018, the 2018 album. If you go and you look at that, you'll see pictures of just lots of people holding this big ass banner. That's the one that I'm going to be carrying around either on the armor, or I'll get it myself and walk around with it as well. So, if you happen to see the guy with the banner and I haven't announced it anywhere else or whatever, ask me if I'm still doing the giveaway, because I haven't decided yet, but I might actually just give this 6.5 foot Hulkbuster armor, to somebody. I don't intend on using this again. And so if somebody else wants to give it a good home, I have no problem. I might decide to do a giveaway. I might decide to do a contest. I don't know. All I know is that I'm not going to be coming home with the shell. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to come home with the frame or if I'm going to rebuild the frame. So, we'll see from there. Because I might decide to make some improvements to the frame where I don't need that either. So, we'll see. So yeah, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on with, and basically, like I said, all I'm doing is just trying to do it about as evenly as possible. But yeah, as I go and do that, and then once I actually get it down to the thing, I'm going to be taking 6-inch collars, putting those on, and then putting some super glue all over where that's going to go, sliding that into place. That way it's locked into place, and that way I can just pop them together and go. This may or may not be, I haven't decided if this is going to be the staff that I carry around with the banner on it, or if it's going to be the one that I put into the fist of the armor, because the one in the armor is going to remain there, to be honest, actually. So I might actually be better off just getting another 5-foot piece of PVC and doing the whole banner thing that way. So we'll see what happens with it. Anyway, thank you for keeping up with this and all. I'm actually starting to upload, more regularly, because I'm actually making enough progress on this thing. So we are actually on track, because I would say about halfway at this point. I have the arms left to do. I've got some hardening left to do, but yeah, we are pretty much over the most of the time-consuming stuff. And then depending on what happens with some other things, I'm going to try to actually have some sort of camera and monitor it, so that way when I have the head of it down, I'll still be able to see well. So we'll go from there and see what happens. Well, anyway, keep on, I don't know, I'll come up with some sort of intro and, goodbye thing, whatever, for now. See y'all.